1. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. 2. To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. 3. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. 4. Without music, life would be a mistake. 5. The true man wants two things, danger and play. For that reason he wants woman, as the most dangerous plaything. 6. Hope in reality is the worst of all evils because it prolongs the torments of man. 7. All things are subject to interpretation. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power and not truth. 8. There are no facts, only interpretations. 9. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. 10. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. 11. There is always some madness in love. But there is also always some reason in madness. 12. To forget one's purpose is the commonest form of stupidity. 13. It is impossible to suffer without making someone pay for it. Every complaint already contains revenge. 14. One should die proudly when it is no longer possible to live proudly. 15. There are no eternal facts, as there are no absolute truths. 16. We have art in order not to die of the truth. 17. A woman may very well form a friendship with a man, but for this to endure, it must be assisted by a little physical antipathy. 18. It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. 19. The demand to be loved is the greatest of all arrogant presumptions. 20. The essence of all beautiful art, all great art, is gratitude. 21. He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk and run and climb and dance. One cannot fly into flying. 22. Whenever I climb I am followed by a dog called ego. 23. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. 24. You have your way. I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist. 25. Madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, nations, and ages it is the rule. 26. In individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations and epochs, it is the rule. 27. There cannot be a God because if there were one, I could not believe that I was not he. 28. We love life, not because we are used to living but because we are used to loving. 29. It is always consoling to think of suicide. In that way one gets through many a bad night. 30. Love is not consolation. It is light. 31. When one has not had a good father, one must create one. 32. Fear is the mother of morality. 33. Perhaps I know best why it is man alone who laughs. He alone suffers so deeply that he had to invent laughter. 34. The doer alone learneth. 35. Many are stubborn in pursuit of the path they have chosen, few in pursuit of the goal. 36. What is great in man is that he is a bridge and not a goal. 37. When one has finished building one's house, one suddenly realizes that in the process one has learned something that one really needed to know in the worst way, before one began. 38. Blessed are the forgetful, for they get the better even of their blunders. 39. Convictions are more dangerous foes of truth than lies. 40. Success has always been a great liar. 41. We should consider every day lost on which we have not danced at least once. And we should call every truth false which was not accompanied by at least one laugh. 42. He who laughs best today, will also laughs last. 43. The irrationality of a thing is no argument against its existence, rather a condition of it. 44. He who cannot give anything away cannot feel anything either. 45. The man of knowledge must be able not only to love his enemies but also to hate his friends. 46. Love is blind. Friendship closes its eyes. 47. There are horrible people who, instead of solving a problem, tangle it up and make it harder to solve for anyone who wants to deal with it. Whoever does not know how to hit the nail on the head should be asked not to hit it at all. 48. I cannot believe in a God who wants to be praised all the time. 49. Talking much about oneself can also be a means to conceal oneself. 50. He that humbleth himself wishes to be exalted. 51. This is the hardest of all, to close the open hand out of love, and keep modest as a giver. 52. Thoughts are the shadows of our feelings, always darker, emptier and simpler. 53. A casual stroll through the lunatic asylum shows that faith does not prove anything. 54. Whatever is done for love always occurs beyond good and evil. 55. What is good? All that heightens the feeling of power, the will to power, power itself in man. 56. The world itself is the will to power, and nothing else. And you yourself are the will to power, and nothing else. 57. He who fights with monsters might take care lest he thereby become a monster. Is not life 100 times too short for us to bore ourselves? 58. In music the passions enjoy themselves. 59. Go up close to your friend, but do not go over to him. We should also respect the enemy in our friend. 60. The best weapon against an enemy is another enemy. 61. Our treasure lies in the beehive of our knowledge. We are perpetually on the way thither, being by nature winged insects and honey-gatherers of the mind. 62. After coming into contact with a religious man I always feel I must wash my hands. 63. Insanity in individuals is something rare, but in groups, parties, nations and epochs, it is the rule. 64. Morality is the herd instinct in the individual. 65. War has always been the grand sagacity of every spirit which has grown too inward and too profound. Its curative power lies even in the wounds one receives. 66. All truly great thoughts are conceived by walking. 67. Women are considered deep. Why? Because one can never discover any bottom to them. Women are not even shallow. 68. Mystical explanations are thought to be deep. The truth is that they are not even shallow. 69. Nothing is beautiful, only man. On this piece of naivete rests all aesthetics, it is the first truth of aesthetics. Let us immediately add its second. Nothing is ugly but degenerate man. The domain of aesthetic judgment is therewith defined. 70. Art is the proper task of life.